What's up? It's been a while. Wanted to come on here and share some stuff that I've learned. Been playing golf for a little while now. There's a handful of stuff I wish I would have known when I was starting out. It just made it a lot easier. This golf is pretty hard, man. If you've been playing for any amount of time, I'm sure you've noticed. So yeah, I'll get rolling. I'm here at Brookledge again. Gonna be playing the 6th hole. It's a par 3, about 150 yards where we're playing it today. And it's the middle of winter. You'd never know it. It's not in tip-top shape, but see what we can do. All right, first thing I want to talk about is from the tee box. So pretty much always going to be a full shot, but you're not trying to kill the ball. In fact, that's where a lot of people get in the most trouble. So what you're really looking for, if you're just starting out or if you've been playing maybe a year or two, just get it on the green. And how you're going to do that is you're going to aim for the middle. I don't care where the flag is. I think it was Annika Sorenstam said, shoot for the middle of the green and putt to the edges. It's just going to give you the best chance of getting a putter in your hand. And the stats really don't lie. The more greens you hit, your score drops. It's like magic. So this hole's maybe 145 yards from where I'm standing. Pin's in the back, so aiming at the middle is going to leave us a little short of the pin, which isn't any trouble at all. If you get your rangefinder, if you have one, and you zap the flag, don't always play that number. See if the course you're playing has like a flag color system. Like here, it's blue flags are the back of the green, red is the front, and middle is yellow, which helps a ton. So see if the courses you play have a system like that, and get to know it. There's a lot more tools out here than some people know about. So yeah, anyway, about 145 yards today. It's a little bit cool. It's like mid-40s. And in regular conditions, I hit my 8-iron probably 150 yards. It's my 150-yard club. Get to know your 150-yard club. It becomes very important. So it's probably going to go a little bit shorter because it's colder out. The ball gets a little bit harder. Club's not as malleable. And it's just a good idea to play a little bit more club when it's colder. I don't know how much I'll get into it, but conditions really affect the flight of the ball and your yardages and pretty much everything. Let's get into it. So getting the ball on the ground. On par 3s, you'll usually find a bunch of broken tees around. So this ball's a little messed up, but as far as teeing it up with an iron in your hand, you're just gonna kind of want to get your fingers between the ball and the ground. So imagine this hand's the ground right there, and then just let it be. Maybe like ½ inch from the dirt, so just kind of floating on the grass. The idea is to make it like a perfect lie in the fairway, but it's a tee box, so you get to set it up whatever way you want. This happens to work for me, so yeah. Another little tip when you're teeing it up. So target is that way, right? So what you're gonna wanna do, back up a little bit. Pick a point in front of the ball in the grass where you wanna get it started. So flag's just over that way. And I play a little bit of a fade, I like to call it. So I'm gonna pick a spot just left of the line between the ball and the flag. So maybe like there or so, middle of the green. So what I'm gonna do is pick out a little piece of grass on that line, maybe like right here. I don't like to do it more than like a foot away from the ball, just so when I'm over the ball, I can look at that spot and have a little reference. Even better if there's like a little piece of a tee or something, or a leaf. Use that stuff. I'm gonna try and swing one-handed. This is gonna be insane. Shanked it. I'll hit a few here just so we can get into some different situations. I know I'm not gonna hit the green with all of them, so let's. So none of those shots really went well. Struck them all super thin. Almost shanked that last one. But we're around the green. That's the benefit of just aiming for the middle. It's not gonna get us in any more trouble left or right. It's the most room for error, which is gonna be a common theme today. Let's check out where I landed. So, like a medium to large green. So it's pretty generous. This one's maybe 20, 25 footer. And got one over here. Kinda lucky we hit the green there. And then one that I thinned, it's just over there if you can see it, yeah. So 2 putts and a chip. It's really not so bad. 2 greens hit, that's pretty good for me. Now comes one of my favorite things in golf, which is a pretty nerdy thing to say, but check it out. So when you do hit the green, because you will, your ball's gonna make a mark. Maybe you're already familiar, but you can fix it with a tee. You don't need a divot tool or anything. Just makes it a little bit easier if you do. What you're gonna do, stick your tee in the ground, behind it. Don't pull up. That'll uproot the grass, and usually there's a dead spot on the green when you do. So you're just gonna kind of push it. I'll get a better angle. Just gonna kind of push the grass back over the hole. Usually there'll be a nice little tail. I'll get my shadow out of the way. A nice little tail from where your ball hit the green and the grass bunched up. So you're just gonna kind of skosh it back into place, for lack of a better word. And then once you have a little mound like this, remember you're not pulling it up, you're pushing it. And it might take 5 or 10 seconds, but it's like anything, you practice and then you get better at it. And then if you have a big old flat putter like I do, or even with a blade, I guess I should say, just stamp it down and boom, it's like you were never there. So anyway, the one that missed the green, we got a little chip here. Not too bad, maybe 5 or 10 yards off the green. Had a lot worse. So when it comes to chipping, you have options. I only brought an 8 iron and my 60 degree with me today, but you can hit pretty much anything. Some people hit their hybrid just off the green. It really just depends on the situation. Which, first we're gonna check out the lie. So, grass isn't really growing in the winter. So this one's pretty tight. Pretty close to the ground. So not a lot of room for error getting under that ball. So something with a really sharp edge, like a wedge. So that is gonna wanna dig into the ground. So it's not always a good idea to use your highest lofted wedge around the green, especially on a tight lie like this. So I'm gonna opt for more club. It's just more forgiving, a little bit less versatile, but that's the idea. You trade off versatility for forgiveness and a bigger margin of error, which is what you're gonna want. So with a club with a flatter face like this, it's gonna go lower to the ground. Maybe goes without saying, but the mistake I see a lot of people make is they don't read the green on their chips. So right here, I don't know how well it comes across on camera. Left side of the hole, the green is higher than the green on the right side of the hole. Just a tiny bit lower. But even after reading the green, you're gonna want to look at the whole line of your chip or putt. And yeah, I got some sticks on there, so I'm gonna go clear those off. This is a pretty good tip in any case, but just kind of be generous with it. It's the middle of winter, so they're not out here cleaning off the green every day. In fact, it's kind of a miracle that there's no snow on the ground. All right, whole line of the chip is pretty clear. It's just gonna give us the best chance to keep it close. So, trying to keep things simple, right? Got an 8 iron in our hands. We're pretty much gonna use it like a putter. Like, you're gonna wanna grip down, maybe halfway, so you got the same amount of grip on either side of your hands. And then stand it kind of upright, kind of like a putter. And then the toe of the club over here is going to be closer to the ground than the heel of the club, just a little bit. It's just going to make it more forgiving overall and make for less contact with the ground, which is really what we're going for. So kind of just looking to sweep the ball off the ground. Don't be afraid of the ground, it's your friend, because we're using a little bit of the bounce on this. The bounce is like the bottom part of the club. Hot tip. So let's bump and run it. That's the official name, by the way. Bump and run with an 8 iron. So that was like best case scenario. Be aware when you're chipping with an iron that the face is so much flatter than with a wedge. So the contact is it's more direct. You're not sweeping under the ball, you're hitting it forward. So more of that energy is transferred directly toward the hole, if that makes sense, instead of up into the air. Am I overcomplicating this? Probably. Swing a little bit less if you're chipping with an iron than you would with a wedge. So anyway, back to those putts. So we got a really long putt, probably like 40 or 50 feet. You're really not gonna be looking to make these. Some people would disagree, like sports psychologists and everything, but I've had the most success just trying to keep the pace right and give myself an easier putt next time. So the goal here, really looking to stop it within 6 feet of the hole. 3 if you really want to torture yourself. But so if it's 6 feet short or 6 feet long, then you got a 12-foot radius to put it into. That's really not all that much pressure, and you don't have to feel as bad if you leave it short. Kind of goes without saying, but rule of thumb is to put the ball toward the higher side of the green, and then it'll channel back on a long putt like this. You're really not as worried about the line on this one. Like if you use a line on your ball, I wouldn't be too focused on it on a putt like this. So that one came up pretty short, but we're not too upset about it. We got 8 feet for par, but those ones happen. What's really important is to not let it carry over to your next shot. So that putt was downhill just slightly, and those ones usually run away on you. They're a little faster, so you hit it with a little bit less speed and it'll take more break because it's going downhill. Kind of the rule of thumb, downhill putts break more than uphill putts. All right, coming back to this putt, about 20-25 feet. Gonna hit up this ball mark real quick with the lesson we just learned. Sometimes you gotta hit up the front too, just to get it a little flatter. Once you got a little chunk like that, just flatten it out. Okay, so kind of the opposite on this one. We're going uphill. I think it's still breaking left to right though. Left side of the green is higher than the right side. So this is a borderline makeable putt. It is about 20 or 25 feet, but if we give it a good run, leave it on the higher side of the hole, maybe it'll just fall in. Never know. Just gonna hit this one a little bit harder because it's uphill. Just try and leave this one within about 3 feet of the hole, just because we're a little closer here. So I made a big mistake there. It's a good teaching moment. So I didn't notice this hole in the green, which I ended up hitting. What I should have done is walked along the whole line of the putt where I thought it was gonna go, break and everything like that. Clear off all the little twigs, fix any holes now that we know how to do that. And I probably would have got this a little bit closer. So we got, if I'm not mistaken, 3 6 to 8 footers for par. Really just looking to make one of these. Be pretty happy with that, but let's see what we can do. As we get closer to the hole, line becomes more and more important, so we're really going to want to take a little bit more time with these. Pick a just like we did on the tee box, pick a spot in front of the ball that you want it to roll over, maybe within like a foot of where the ball is sitting. So this ball, that long putt we had, it's going to be moving a little bit from left to right, and it's still a little bit downhill. So we want to play it maybe like a cup and a half to the left. Good spot over there. So I will pick a spot on that line, line it up with the shaft of my putter maybe, maybe like right there, right along the middle of the ball, and then pick a spot in front on the grass, maybe like right here or so. Oop, don't know how far I am from the ground. There we go. And then just hit it with enough pace to get past the hole. A lot of people make mistakes hitting it 3, 4, 5 feet past the hole, and then they have a really hard putt coming back. So even if we leave it a foot or two short, then hey, you only got a 2-footer. Whew, that really broke. So didn't make that one. Which is okay, because we picked a good line and we were committed to it. It just broke a lot more than we thought. But it wasn't a mistake in planning, it was a mistake in execution, which I have a little easier of a time forgiving. So we got this little 6-footer here, clean up for par. That was that shorter putt we had. And this one's gonna also be moving a little left to right, but this one is a little bit uphill. Dang. This green is bewildering me today. But hey, look at that. We're only 2 feet away for a bogey. Luckily made it. And that means the pressure is on this last putt, which is good. I like it. This one's pretty flat. It's on flat ground, I mean. It's gonna be moving from right to left though. So we're just gonna aim right outside, maybe half a cup to the right, and just hit a good putt. And if it falls, it falls. All we can do is hit the ball. I think this is where the heartbeat sound effect would play in a video game. Hey, 1 for 3, not too bad. Hot tip when you're putting too, if you pull the pin out, it makes the hole look a lot bigger. And I usually putt with the pin out. I don't know why I kept it in this time. But yeah, that's just a handful of little tips that help me quite a bit. Some obvious, some maybe not so much. But yeah, golf is a game. You play golf, so have fun. And if you're not having fun, take yourself a little less seriously. You can take your game seriously without taking yourself seriously. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.